Hi everyone, my name is Alice Bowl and I run the membership group at scraphappy.org. If you're looking for some scrappy people, come check us out. It's really fun. We do fun things every month. We have fun challenges. It's really good. So scraphappy.org. Anyways, we are diving into our Scrapbook Live session today, and I will be using my kit from the ScrapRoom. So you can find ScrapRoom at scrap-room.com, and I have my February kit in front of me, and I'm so excited because I was peeking through to kind of see what kind of photos was I going to need to use. And I think they call it kismet. Like, I think that's the thing. So somebody correct me if I'm all wrong. But when it's like this happy accident that just kind of comes together, well, I had decided we are doing a load challenge, which is the layout a day challenge through the Scrap Happy membership right now. And our prompt of the day is talking about Chip and how he plays a supporting role to Joanna on the show Fixer Upper. We're all inspired by Chip and Joanna Gaines and their businesses and their Fixer Upper and their style and their ideas and their design and all of the things about them this month. And today is all about Chip being a supporter. So he actually wrote a really great article in the Magnolia Journal. This is issue 14. It was in this issue right here. And he wrote a really great article, and it talked about how he became the supporting character. So I really thought the graphic in here was really cool. It's got Chip, he's putting things together. Joanna's sitting up there. I thought it was kind of funny. But he talks, like, he gets really real, and he talks about how, you know, he was always that guy that thought he was going to be in the spotlight. He was going to be the shining star. And then over time, as they sat in the meetings, he kind of realized that everybody was connecting with Joanna, and the way that she would say something, all of a sudden, like, the room would just go silent, and they'd be like, did you hear what she said? Just write that down. So it's a really well written article that he wrote about this whole situation. And I thought it was interesting because, you know, sometimes we are the supporting person. Sometimes we are the person that is the shining star. But for him to step back and become that supporting role to help Joanna kind of rise to the level that she could, it just, you know, it's part of relationships. And sometimes we are not that star. We get to be the supporter. Sometimes we get our moment. So I just thought it was really interesting to think about that. I liked the whole idea. This magazine is amazing. It's truly amazing. It's called Magnolia Journal for anybody that isn't. There's like food, there's design, there's just heartwarming messages in the magazine. So if you're looking for something that just like feels really positive and warm and fuzzy, like, oh, that's the thing. So that led us to our prompt for today about the supporting role. And so we're talking about, how do you play the supporting role, whether it's through your job, your duties, your roles, where you help to make the ideas, the dreams, the plans of another person or a business be successful. And I said, you know, you can choose like one small thing, or like zoom back and take like a big picture approach to that. Or you can scrapbook about someone who supports you and lifts you up. And yeah, I think that it's just so good to help you be the person that you are. So whether you're doing the supporting or someone is doing the supporting for you, that's the goal of the page that I'm making today. And for technique, it says use a go-to item or technique on your layout, one that you can always count on and enjoy, including in the process. So Vincent says, I love Chip and Joanna. Hi, everyone from New York. She just joined Scrap Happy at the end of January, and she's doing her first load. So she's happy to be here. Yeah, and we make these sessions open to everybody to come and join us. The replays get posted on YouTube. And I think it's just a fun way to bring the whole scrappy world together. Okay, I have to show you my kit so I can explain the whole kismet thing to you. I decided to scrapbook about my husband, and I've done several pages talking about the way that he supports me. Like, he's just amazing. Like, in all of my endeavors, all of the things, you guys have seen some of the crazy videos. If the video was super fun and crazy, chances are he had something to do with that. And if it was edited really well, I know he had something to do with that. So that is something that he really excels in. And yeah, I really think that it's time for me to show a page that is me supporting him. Like, obviously it's a relationship, we support each other, but I think that for me to it's not something I scrapbook, right? It's kind of like a little bit, I don't know, like tooting your own horn in that way, I guess. So I had to kind of think about that. And my husband loves to fly. He had a little plane, he doesn't right now, and we've done all these little flying adventures. Turns out that he loves to fly a lot more than I love to fly. Like, I don't mind the flying part of it. If we're going somewhere, it's great. I like to go places, but actually just doing flying, I'm like, woohoo. For me, it's about the adventure of going somewhere. For him, it's about just being in the air and flying. And along the way, well, I take lots of photos. So we have pictures of us, like, yeah, here's one of us in the mountains, and here is one in the cockpit, and here is one at his hangar. So he built a giant Canada flag door on his hangar. And so that is my topic, is how, I get the chance to be his supporting person as he goes through all of his flying stuff. And, I have fun along the way. It's not like you can't enjoy the process. Now, here's where the fun gets in. I have my kits. So this is the Flavors of the Month kit from the ScrapRoom. I think I can turn on my share. I think it's set up right. We'll find out. And I'm hoping that today will just work. Share. The file can't be found. What is that saying? Okay, there, it's working, right? Okay. We had so many issues last time, so I was like a little nervous. Okay, so we've got my kit here. I actually get the add-on embellishment kit, so we'll kind of deal with those as we go through the kit. And I showed you that these are my photos that I've chosen to showcase the supporting role. This first kit is super fun. I actually have some birthdays to scrapbook again right now. Birthdays are not something I often do, but today is not birthday day, but I have to show you what's in here. So this is from Cartabella, which I was kind of surprised. Like, this looked really bright, and like, I think a lot of times I think of Cartabella as softer palettes and, just like more elegant. I don't know, maybe I'm just like wrong. Maybe it's the ones I buy. So that could be too. But I've got the whole sticker sheet for embellishments, because the kits always include like the papers and some embellishments, but this time I've got like the whole sticker sheet. And then I've got my 3 sheets of pattern paper. So the lovely balloons, the stripes, and you can see there's little confetti streamers or something in the background there. And then if I flip those over, you'll see more of the party theme. Oh, and see, have a look, there's the party streamers, but with like the color and there. Oh, so that's fun. So it's nice because you have like a really good mixture. The little noisemakers. Gosh, I loved those as a kid. And then a couple of sheets of cardstock so that you can pull your layout together. And I like the size. It's big enough to make some birthday pages, but it's also not so big that I'm going to have all the birthday pages, or mostly all the leftover stuff. Because like I said, birthday pages, not really my favorite thing to scrapbook. And then in addition to that, with my embellishment kit, I received a package that has a bunch of the die cuts. So I've got a good variety. Like there's a lot of them in here actually. So they split these up so you don't necessarily get every little piece, but you get enough to play. And there's always something that's like that extra little thing to finish off your page. Okay, so that's the birthday pack. Oh, and I should tell you who it's from. It's, like I said, it's from Echo Park. No, did I say Echo Park? It's Cartabella because they're part of Echo Park. It's Cartabella, and it's called Let's Celebrate. Okay. And I take this right out of the package, maybe. Okay, we're just gonna set this right here then. Okay, so the next one, and I thought I would be using this supporting role. It's kind of Valentine-y. It's called Cupid and Co. It's from Echo Park. So that's where I'm thinking. We now have some pretty little Valentine's type papers. So I'm expecting this is going to use. I looked at this floral. I'm like, ooh, I would love that. That looks fun. Lots of fun things in this embellishment pack. You can see this little die cut has like cutout pieces. There's a piece of the enamel dots in here. So lots of little fun embellishments included so that I can make my page. And then I've got pattern paper, and look at this pattern paper. Like I fell in love with that. Like I was just like, yep, this is gonna be what I'll use for sure. So pretty, right? And taking a look at the back, you've got the cut apart sheet, which is a great way to have more patterns, but I don't know, can I even sacrifice that paper? It's too pretty, right? And some nice neutrals that go with that. There is some black cardstock to go with to match it all up so you can bring your page together. And then in my embellishment kit, I have I think that these little stickers are meant to go with it because they kind of match with the little the gray tones and stuff like that. Pretty sure. I have to look on their video and stuff. So, but that looks like that goes together. The next kit in here is this one. It's called Hello Today, or at least that paper is called Hello Today. It's from Simple Stories. And you can see included in here is one of those chipboard frames. Super fun. There's also some little pieces, and some of these are like a little thicker. So this is like thick and probably a sticker. And then there's a bunch of little die cut pieces as well. So there's a nice variety of items in this kit. I love these frames. Sometimes it's hard to get your pictures to kind of fit in them, but I really love having the frames. So that's kind of fun. This one, like I said, it's called Hello Today from Simple Stories. Look at these pattern papers. Such a nice color palette. So love that with little butterflies and flowers. If you wanted to add a little extra color, you could probably just color up those flowers too. Now let's flip the whole thing over. And then look at the fun cut apart cards. So I love that they are all cut aparts because you get so much variety. If I was doing a pocket page, man, this would just be super fun. So this has September, March, I've got November, so I've got various kind of month themes through here. So I'm guessing that this is part of a collection that has all of the months. So if, you know, if I was like, oh my gosh, I could make like a whole album and use some of this, then that would be a really good collection for this. But I love the little rainbow themes, the colorful books, the fun little embellishments. And then I have some cardstock that matches with really nice with the tones of this paper. That's the curation they do when they put these kits together. Gorgeous. Okay, and then look at this. So this obviously would have been like 2 pages of these. This was in my embellishment kit, so it's an extra add-on to it, but they're chunky and thick, and oh, I love the texture. So that's a fun thing to have for sure. Let's bring this. And then I got to this paper, and well, instantly I love this pattern. That is beautiful. It's a lot of pink, so maybe I wouldn't necessarily gravitate first towards pink, for a page with my husband, but here is where it all happened. So I'll show you the embellishments in a second, but we've got these papers. So lovely plaid, cute little floral, this gorgeous paper. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to use that actually. This paper that I have, my cardstock is white, but it actually comes with a different color. They just didn't have it yet when they were shipping out my kit. So there's a substitute. It's walnut cream cardstock. So that'd be pretty. And flip over. Look at this. Look at this. There are little airplanes in this pack. Like, I want to do a page. I've printed pictures already with airplanes and flying, and then I look and there's airplanes in this pack, and I'm like, well, obviously I have to use this paper. Like, that's just amazing. So that is my plan. Let's take a peek at the little embellishments that are included. And I've got some enamel dots. There's a bunch of little the little die cut pieces, a whole bunch of those. Let's put them in here so I don't lose them. And then some of the little kind of thicker type chipboard things. They're not chipboard, I think they're thickers, but super sweet, really cute. And then as the add-on for this kit, I've got the whole chipboard stickers. So they are all here. This one's just falling out, but I've got the whole thing of the chipboards to go with it. So super fun, lots of things to play with. So obviously it couldn't be more perfect. I have to use this one. It looks like the February kit also comes with the s'mores coffee. I think I probably put it over by my coffee maker already. So yeah, that happens. And then I thought that I might actually use I might use this sketch. So let's bring this sketch up. So I can have a good look at the sketch. So it says this is their January sketch, but look how cute it is. So then they've got a row of 4 photos. I just have 3, but mine are printed sideways, not vertical. So I think that would be a good replacement for that size. They've got a whole bunch of strips with different pattern papers potentially. There's a little bit of a strip across the top. They've got a little strip along the bottom with a title. This is not a layout style that I do very often, so that's kind of something fun for me. And then we will go from there and embellish it up. So that's my game plan. I'm going to keep it. We'll see if I push it out of the screen. It could happen. But we're gonna go and dive into this. So I'd love to know, I know I haven't been reading the comments, but I'd love to know what everybody else is scrapbooking today, because I'd love to see Alice try new things, right? Today, oh yeah, I totally do try new things, but today is about doing something that you can always count on. And like when I'm stuck on a design style, or I feel like I've made a million pages that kind of look the same, because after a while you look at your pages and think, all of my things look the same. I'm like, that's cool, I have a style. so there's a different way to reframe that to kind of give yourself a little boost. But I also I think it's good to have the things that we can rely on, but it's also fun to try new things. And a sketch is a fun way for me to try a different design style. And like by the end, will it look similar to that sketch? Today probably will, but sometimes they just don't. Okay, I'm unsure as to whether, okay, this paper pack has kind of a creamy effect, and this was the one that was supposed to have the other paper. So I'm not 100% loving the white with it. So I think I might sub out and take some black, right? I can do that. I'll make to steal the stuff in this other pack. This right here right now. I might steal that black instead, because I think I might prefer that with that. But it actually comes with a different one that would work even better. I get the whole cream versus white thing, and I struggle. That's a struggle for me. So yeah. Miss Cummings, Lindsay says, my go-to technique for today's prompt is also using a sketch. So that's what I'm doing. I don't always use sketches, but when I want to try something that's just a little bit out of my regular design style, oh my gosh, and I've been meaning all week. I just realized I forgot last night. Scrap Happy, we have a sketch for the month. It's not up, and that's totally my fault. Christy sent it to me. I've had it all week and I didn't get it posted. It's on my to-do list. I'll get it done today. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this paper is just too adorable. I think it would make sense to use it as my background, but then I'd have to lose some of this great paper. Oh, that might kill me a little bit. That's gonna be hard. Maybe what I'll do is, okay, looking at this sketch, there is like this whole band across the top. And if I mount this on something else and cut this band off of this airplane paper, I will have enough of this to use to make some banners. So that will be good. And then I'll have to mount it just on some other paper. So maybe I'll just use one of these white papers to mount it all onto. That will work. We have a plan. So pictures, how far do I want it? Let's grab my ruler. Yeah, probably a 3-inch strip. So I'll cut that off of there. But you know, when you're limited on patterns, it's all about making it work, right? Yeah. So yeah, we do have sketches available within our membership as well. Okay, so that's going to be the main part of my background. So fun. Those little airplanes. Like, that was just meant to be. It was so good. Like, how often are there Valentine's thing with airplanes? Like, maybe there has been, but I don't know. Deborah says, I have a sketch I want to use, but I need to choose photos. And Bonnie says she's just watching today. She's not scrapbooking, so she's only has the use of one hand. That sounds like you've hurt yourself. I am so sorry. Feel better. Get better. Joyce has football. It's what everyone's doing around here today. Football. Yeah, it's like Super Bowl weekend. Is that right? Somebody correct me. I'm not the, definitely not the football person. Ooh, do I want to put some of that at the top? Ooh, or do I just want to use this in some of the banners? So many good choices. A little bit of band of the red at the top. That would be good. Although I'm going to need that red to kind of alternate, I think, with these other patterns. Because when you're doing the patterns, you really don't want to have like something wild and crazy next to something wild and crazy. So as you go across the banners, it kind of helps to be like something a little bit restful next to something a little bit crazier. That's kind of my approach to doing stuff like this. Michelle says she's already finished her load layout for today, and now she's going to work on reorganizing her washi drawers. Woo! Are you using your washi? If you're not, pull it out and, you know, like leave one on your counter for tomorrow and be like, I'm totally going to use this. And maybe it's not that roll, but maybe you'll be like, oh yeah, I was totally going to use this. Tomorrow I'll have to use washi. You know, those little extra little things that help reconnect you to parts of your stash are fun. Okay. I just love these hearts so much. I want them there, but I think the red is a smarter choice. Okay, I'm gonna do the red. So I cut a 3-inch strip before. This pattern doesn't really have anything. It's kind of one, if you accidentally turn the page, it's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, what were you thinking? Why did you cut your paper like that? Always good to look first. Okay. Oh yeah. See, that's gonna be nice. And I may as well trim up these photos while I'm getting ready. Kimberly says she's finished her load layout. Saturdays are hard for meetups. Yeah, it's so tough to know like what is a good day for everyone. Because there's literally not a good day for everybody. We do our best to try to include enough things. I am leaving a little bit of white on this. I'm worried it will feel overly bright, so I'm actually cutting it a little bit thinner than I normally do when I leave the white. But I just like the fact that I might not have to feel the need to map these so much. Like, Alex, are you cheating? No, I'm using my resources wisely. And one more photo. Kathy says, I'm just starting load. I'm playing major catch up. So technically you can't play catch up. You can totally do your own thing. But the rules of load are you have to scrapbook a layout a day. But please feel free to catch up and share all your pages. Just, rules. I didn't make them up actually. And I feel kind of good about that because, man, having to tell people that like there's rules, that's not part of the fun for me. Not part of the fun. Bonnie says she had shoulder replacement surgery a week ago. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, she is definitely in the recovery zone then right now. So I hope that heals up well so that you have a good use of that shoulder. I'm assuming that you needed that for a really important reason. Okay. Oh, this is great. So I printed these down. I print the photos in my iPhoto. Yes, just iPhoto. No, photos. It's called photos now. I always used iPhoto. So Ellie says she's loving the airplane paper. So yeah, I printed the photos in my photos program on my Mac computer. And in Photos program, it lets you choose exactly the dimensions that you want your photos to be printed out as. And I really love to, do that. So when I looked at this page and I looked at the row of photos, obviously I'm using 12 by 12 because that's my go-to size. But when I looked at that row of photos across there, I know that like they're not fully 3x4s or something like that, right? It's not a full 12-inch. They've got a little bit of space between them and they've got a little bit of space on the sides in the way that they've made the sketch. I think this is just an area that didn't print right. I'm assuming there's not like something across the top of my photos. It's printers. So with this sketch, I wanted to fill that kind of same space. So I printed these just a little bit smaller than 4 inches wide. So they're about 3.5 inches wide. And then whatever dimension made my photos not get too chopped off. So sometimes you play with that a little bit to get them to be that perfect size. And I wish they had a setting in there where you could just pick one dimension. I want my picture to have the whole picture, but I want it to have this kind of thing. It doesn't have that, but that's okay because they turned out great. So that is the perfect little thing. So I will do the banners across here. Looking at this sketch, maybe I'll move these up a little bit higher because as I add my banners, they're going to hang out down across some of these airplanes, which is really sad to lose some of the airplanes. Yeah, if I really wanted to, I could maybe cut out one of the ones that's maybe going to sit behind a banner. So we'll see if we go there at some point if I need. Because I noticed that in my embellishments that came with my kit, there's actually no more little airplanes. Oh no, there was. Oh, okay. Well, I have an airplane. I'm not worried. I just think that would be a nice little embellishment to include. Can you use vellum for the banners? I totally could, but I have all this pretty pattern paper to use. So I'm kind of excited to dive into that. So with this paper, before I chop it, oh my gosh, it's gonna be hard to chop. So let's just count their banners. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they may or may not be the same size, depending on how you make your own banners. but 6 makes them probably smaller than 2 inches a piece, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Heather said her dad ended up with health issues last time. She was at emergency at least once a week through October, November. So she didn't have time to get load. And this time she is trying to get those prizes. So she says the project she's working on is crazy busy. So she's had some late nights. So she loved how Load teaches. Luke teaches me to tell stories that I wouldn't normally tell, and she's loving it. That is exactly what I love about Load too. Okay, so I think I'm gonna make my banners, I think 1.5 inches. No, I might go all the way to 1.75 inches. So I'm gonna trim off this side here. It's a bit of a sacrifice, honestly. I don't know, let's move this back a little. You see my mess of pens and stuff I have over here? There's like a lot. Okay, so as I trimmed this off, I only cut off this 1.5 inch little piece here, but I'll also have access to this nice little stripe piece from the back. And obviously I'm not going to need like hugely long banners, so I might just trim this in half right now so that I can kind of lay my pieces out to where I'll finally turn them all into banners. Oh my gosh, I just love this so much. Yeah, so I have a little bit more of this in the back here. Obviously, I'm not going to do another strip with this pattern. That would just be strange. So I have the love you, love is in the air, love is in the air. I think I'll sacrifice this part. I'm going to cut this piece here at the 6 inches so that I can have this to chop those little airplanes if I want them. Or I'll just have more of that pattern. So because this is 3, I'm actually going to cut this one right in half. So these ones will be a little narrower, but then I have 2 of them. And then I have this one. Adorable florals. And the red. So do I have enough little pieces? I almost feel like I might need one more. And maybe I would bring another one of these cute heart ones in, which is a sacrifice to cut another one off of here, but so be it. So I think bringing a little bit more of that pattern will make it feel more like it belongs on this page. Okay, so there we go. So I probably have too many banners now, but at least I'm not short. Christy says, I really like the kits that I've seen you show them. They do a great job. They do so good. And the variety that I get throughout the year is so cool. Like that's honestly, like for me, the best part is the variety of products that I get to work with because I'm using their kits. I pay for my own kits from them. I just love them. So we will be doing a giveaway. I didn't tell you up front, I'm terrible about this. I don't even tease you at all. We will be doing a giveaway for a free kit from the ScrapRoom at kind of when I kind of reach semi-completion on this page. I usually do it then. Sometimes I start a second page afterwards. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I fiddle with this one. We'll just kind of, we'll see where we go, right? We'll see where we go. Anyways, so I'm starting to think a little bit about how my journaling is going to fit on this page as well. There's not really necessarily a spot for journaling on this layout. However, one of these banners could turn into a really great journaling spot if I so chose to make that happen. This pattern papers do not lend themselves nicely to journaling. If like this one, if the lines were further apart, maybe I could do that, but right now that is way too tight. My writing is not that tiny. But what I could do is incorporate maybe a piece of the black as one of my little banner pieces and do my journaling with a white gel pen or something. That might be really cool too. I know I stole the black from the other kit, but yeah, that might actually look really good. Alternately, it's like this color here, that looks good. I could do it right here on the background as long as but then you know what happens? You try filling it in on the background, you spell something wrong, you make a little mistake, and you're like, oh, why did I do that on my background? Dan, I don't know 100% if they give out their sketches anywhere, or if, like, you can probably check on their site and link to their design team. Somebody will have used it, I'm thinking. But yeah, I don't know that they actually like kind of like give out the sketches otherwise. Not 100% sure on that. So I'm like hoping I'm not like ruining like their, you know, trade secrets kind of thing. I'm like, sorry, I didn't mean to mess it up. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make a wider banner, a little bit wider with the black to kind of put my journaling on. So I need it to be wider than this because honestly, how am I ever going to squish enough writing into that? But how wide before it's too wide? Okay. Let's try that. Cool. Cool. I might want to kind of like map this one with a little bit of this red so that I have some red popping. Not sure. Okay, this looks really fun. Now I think I'm going to start making them into banners, and then I will start to attach them in different lengths, right? I don't want them all to just be exactly the same length. So I'm actually going to attach this first, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, I've been using the kits for quite some time now, and here's a good sign. I don't just sit down and use the kits when I come here to Scrapbook for Scrapbook Live. I actually pull the kits all the time to make my other layouts, even when I'm off the camera, which is why they're a good value. I also like that I get to taste all of the different supplies, like have that little bit of some of the supplies without having to have all of the packs of the die cuts, the letters, the thickers, the whatever is going with them, because it becomes a lot. I wasn't going to sit and scrap this evening, watching you play with this fun paper. What chores? Love it. Oh, I think you sent that to me as a direct message. So this is part of my kit. So the sketch was part of my kit from the ScrapRoom. So it's actually from the ScrapRoom. The kit that's like included, or the sketch that's included with my kit. So there we go. This is gonna look so cute. So like that in the middle. Maybe. Oh, that's good. Like the red from this isn't even like too like different than the red here, and there's red from his seats in the airplane, so the reds are all looking really nice together. Okay, so journaling banner. I don't think I'm going to cut this one into a banner until I kind of know how long my words are. That would be a really good thing for me to do. Let's see. Ben seems as if you click on ideas in the ScrapRoom, you can scroll down and see the sketch. Thank you so much for sharing that, because now everybody has access to go and check it out. And I'm like, oh, am I allowed to share this? So. Okay, so I'm gonna have my journaling about here, and let's layer in these other pieces. And Some will be shorter, some will be longer. I really like that. Floral. This is good. Okay, I would like to know how long my words are, but overall, I think this is pretty good. I may substitute that one. We'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the little banner ends. Beth says, one of my favorite things about ScrapRoom is you can just choose to pass on any kits without paying for them. Yeah, so it's not like a commitment that you feel like you're sucked in for life. So I very much have enjoyed using the kits and playing with them and just getting creative. That has been super fun for me. It's just, I know that there's going to be something in the kit every month that I like. Okay, I'm gonna cut this first one like a banner. I usually do like a little slit down the middle, and then I cut the corners out like that, from the corner to the center. And then the banners tend to be nice and even. And of course, like as I make my page, I'll kind of take the ends and I'll bend them up a little bit. You know, I may even add a little texture along the side so they're not maybe sitting so perfect without a scallop punch. Do you ladies know how to make a scallop border with a scalloped edge punch? I have one of the punches. I shared it sometime.
Actually, it should be without the punch.
Oh, without the punch. Yeah. I have like a little green one where you can take a little thing off the back and then you can do a little scallop thing. Super good. Okay. I think I would like my little banner ends to kind of match. They're not going to be the same. So why am I worrying about that? Stop worrying about it. Just make the stuff, Alice. So there we go. Lesson of the day. Don't worry about it. Just make the stuff, Alice. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Just make the stuff. Stop worrying about making it like perfect. I just seen last night I was playing. I fiddle. I played with my stuff so much on my page. It was ridiculous, but in the end, it's beautiful. So I was really happy. Maybe afterwards, I'll show you a peek at some of my load layouts. See if you guys want to have a little peek at what I've been making, because I haven't actually shared them. I've shared them in our gallery, so I did do that, but I haven't shared them on social media anywhere yet. In fact, I took pictures of last month's Scrapbook Live page, and I meant to share them. I took the pictures at night, and I edited them. I really tried to do a good job. They look terrible. They were so contrasty. It's just bad. It's just bad. So I definitely had to turn off the yeah, I definitely had to turn off. Okay, if I want this to be longer, I'll just cut a new piece, right? So I'm just gonna prep this banner too so that I can kind of think about it as all my banners. There you go. Just go for it. Just do it. Yeah, I love it when I actually go along and make the pages when we're doing the load and get stuff done. It just makes me so happy to not only create prompts, but use them. Imagine that. Oh, and I have a new podcast. So this week on the podcast, so thank you. I'm the host of the Scrap Happier podcast. Let's mention that up front. It is called Scrap Happier. And my goal is to share things that will make you happier, help you, be inspired to sit down and scrapbook and be able to make pages that you truly love when you're doing it. So that is the goal with the podcast. I do have this other piece. I don't know that I need it, but we'll see. This is feeling busy on busy. Do you see how that one looks busy on busy right here? It's just two busy patterns beside each other. I don't like that. What is the other side of this? That's that one. Oh, this one is the what I'm looking for, the red, right? Okay. So I might need to sneak one of those in over there. Or what's in the back? Oh yeah, that's this one. Okay, so it's looking okay. These are gonna have to be like different lengths. And I'm gonna put them in a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna move my pictures up a little. And I'm gonna keep this one. I'm gonna just lift it just enough so I can see that little airplane peeking out there. And I'm gonna start sticking them down. Yeah, thank you, Kate. So like it was a part of the bucket list. So I talked about bucket lists on this week's podcast, and it was about having two types of bucket lists. One of them is a technique bucket list, where you make a list of techniques that you either like to use or want to try, especially like ones that you might be wanting to try and you just haven't necessarily made that happen yet. I personally love having a technique bucket list because it lets me say, oh yeah, I haven't done that for a little while. Or, ooh, I've been meaning to try that. Or, oh yeah, I bought that awesome tool. How come I'm never using it? You just don't think of things, right? Sometimes you're just not thinking of it. So when you have that technique bucket list, it's just something to pull out and be like, oh my gosh, how come I'm not doing this? I should do this more. Okay, so did they, on their sketch, they're kind of showing them overlapped. Obviously, I don't have to do them overlapped, but I kind of like the overlapped look actually. So I'm gonna lay this one down on the side. Go from there. Want it all the way to the edge. And so I didn't, yeah, I love the, so then, okay, so the first one was technique bucket list. The second one is to have a bucket list of stories that you want to tell. So that is, you know, pages where you come across something and you're like, oh, I have this picture. I really need to tell this story. Having a list or a place where you keep those stories is a super good idea, because then you can just go back to them anytime. Okay, just gotta move these pictures out of the way a little bit. So I think this has to be longer than the journaling here. I'm gonna just trim like, actually, I won't even trim it. I'm just gonna lay it on here. Oh, cheater. And all is layered in the background. And then I just did an interview and I was really excited because my guests, two guests, first time that I've had two guests on the podcast, so new stuff with that. There's things that I learned along the way. So when you listen, you'll be like, oh, I didn't identify the speakers very well in the very beginning, but I got better because I realized what was happening and I'm like, uh-oh, this could be better. Okay. Cool. I think I'm gonna put this one behind that one actually. So yes, I would like to know
here's my question to you. Do you have a list of layouts that you would like to make? Do you have like a little bucket list or some kind of list? It doesn't have to be a bucket list. Like, you don't like the term, that's fine. I know it's like the whole kick the bucket thing, like, but like they made a Hollywood movie of a bucket list. It was funny. It was like charming, engaging, all the things. I'm like, it's fine. We can talk about bucket lists. But it's like one of those things, like, do you talk about that? Barb says she doesn't have a list. Beth says, I keep a book of the big stories I want to tell and check them off as I go. Yeah, and like it's totally fine to like call things differently. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's good. This one, is that gonna pop enough? Oh, I like that. This, the black's gonna be a little harsh on there, isn't it? If I don't like it, I'll change it to another color. But it looks like it might be awfully harsh against this layout. So, but that's what we do. We sit down and we figure it out. We'll have a look and it's like, no, no, I don't like that. Okay. So I'm gonna leave this one next. Candace says my bouquet list includes watercolor, Copic markers, and being confident with patterned paper. I think if you want to play with patterned paper, doing a page like this where you're getting to use the different patterns together all in one kind of thing and kind of seeing how they fit together, I think for me that's a big game changer. Also, I have a post. Oh, Christine, do you have your phone up? You can or do you have your hand up? If you want to talk and say something, that's fine. Yeah, I have a post on my site. It is about scrapbooking multiple pattern papers together. And it is, let me have a look at this really quick. We'll take a little side journey and see if we can't look at this in the blog. Is it like way old on the blog? Let's have a look. Shoot, I thought it was right here. Do I have a search? Yeah, I'll have to have my son help out with a search. We're going to do an overhaul on my site and I'm so excited. There are little things that drive me nuts. And I'm like, yes, we definitely need to do that. I don't see it showing up. Yeah, I don't see it showing up. That's crazy because I have this post. It's actually one of my most pinned things on Pinterest. Okay, so anyways, we go through in the post and talk about, there we go. I found it. Talk about using the pattern papers and how to kind of mix the different styles together. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing just for a sec. We're going to look at this other post and we'll take a peek at this. Here. Okay, so it is 5 tips for using multiple patterned papers. And I wrote the post quite some time ago. It used to hang out at my old blog, but I moved it over here. And one of my first tips is to use papers from one pack or kit or design line. And that makes it super easy because they're designed to go together. So this was all papers from one kit. It was a kit called Brushed from Close to My Heart. And your pinks are going to match. Your reds are going to match. You know what? Having reds that don't match super annoying, and reds do not match. Like if you're picking from this line and that line, good luck. If you find one that matches, you're like, woohoo! But and then I recommend finding your patterned neutrals. So even though a paper has a pattern, it can be a neutral. So when we're looking at these papers, you have your super crazy strong patterns and you have your neutrals. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 are potential neutrals that help to kind of have pattern, but it's like the neutral pattern. I don't know if that makes sense. And then I recommend like choosing your, that's funny. Okay, I totally forgot this page was shared on here. It's another airplane cage. Airplanes are part of my world right now. Choose your base. So I tend to gravitate to crazy busy base patterns. I love them. I love those papers that are in your face and just wild and crazy. Like you saw me when I had this little heart paper with all the hearts, that background paper. I was like, oh, I can't wait to use that. So the choosing your base, and then it becomes a matter of choosing how your layers are going to sit with your colors and how your crazy neutrals or your crazy patterns are going to sit with your neutrals, right? And so when you're layering, you've got the pieces that are the bold patterns, you've got the pieces that are the more neutrals, and then you have your other pieces. So you can see I've got a yellow matte, I've got a kind of greenish matte, I've got a piece of brown sticking here, I've got some stripes, I've got this other piece. So I've got a lot of different elements on this page, but because of when you're stacking your layers, how they kind of fit together, it can be beautiful. And I know this journaling looks hard to read. In person, it's actually really easy because it's on a piece of acetate over top of the page. So it's not actually on that crazy background paper. So I know it's like hard to see on here, but like the journaling, yeah, it's printed on a piece of acetate, just sits there. And then you kind of giving each pattern its time to shine is kind of what I think about it. So, I've got this crazy busy pattern. I've got the polka dots, but you'll notice I kind of snuck some layers underneath to kind of give a little bit of separation between the busy layers. So then I kind of sneak the neutrals in between. So I think if you just want to go really basic, do like busy pattern, neutral, busy pattern, neutral pattern, like, and kind of layer those together. So let's do a stop share on that. Come back to here. So hopefully, like just thinking about patterns as busy or not busy, like if you just think about some of like when we talk about papers as having an A side and a B side, A is like the usual bold pattern and your B side will be like the more subdued patterns. And like this is a perfect example. A side paper, the busy bold pattern, and then your more subdued kind of calmer, kind of neutral. Candace says, thanks so much, Alice. Very good points. I'll give it a shot. Joan says, I love to fly in big planes, not so much in small planes. My husband got his private pilot's license. Not so keen on flying with him since there's no redundancy if anything goes wrong. My page would show me the white knuckled, holding on, eyes closed, squeaking them open just a bit to help them push the button. I envision it already. Sounds fun, Joan. Nancy says, oh my God, you keep coming back to me, Alice. I recognize the article from a long time ago before I knew you through Scrap Happy. Yeah, so I had this posted on my Scrapbook Wonderland. I was Alice Wonderland, Scrapbook Wonderland. I called my space Scrapbook Wonderland up here. It's a Wonderland. It's totally great. But yeah, as I moved away and I started doing more stuff, I wanted to kind of bring everything home to the Scrap Happy. So I've pulled some of my Scrapbook Wonderland posts and brought them forward just so that they're kind of where I am now. So it's like, oh, I like this one thing she does. Maybe I'll look at something else and it's actually here on the same site. So yay, that's super fun. Okay, back to the scrapping. I know, super. I just can't help it. I get just a little I think that's not distracted. That's like helping us address the things that we're actually dealing with, and that's kind of part of it. Like if I have an insight, whether that helps you or not, you have the chance to see if it works for you or not.
Because sometimes what works for one person just doesn't make sense for another. But sometimes you hear something from someone and you're like, how come nobody told me this before? Seriously, where are my friends? And yeah. It's like when you have like a super bad hair day and you're like, how come nobody told me? Does nobody love me? Like, come on, people. Help a girl out. Okay, yeah, I think this is good. So did I stick that one down? Yes. Now I need to stick this one down. So yeah, it's going good. Pages coming together. Feeling it. So if you're making load layouts today, obviously I have airplane stuff going on. What is your supporting role page about? Are you using the story prompt? Are you taking a pass on the story prompt, but maybe you're using the technique prompt? Like it's all about making the page that works for you. So I'd love to know if you're working on that. If you're working on something else, what else are you working on today? Let's open up my, when I change the screen sharing, it puts my chat away and then I can't see what everybody's saying. So Judy says, hi Alice, I love the layout you're working on. Does the ScrapRoom box have a sketch for each of the 4 pages? No, they just include like the one sketch in here. So you get information about the different packs and like what you receive from each pack. You have included my embellishment kit information, info usually about the coffee. I wrote it on here because it was written on my coffee thing. Sometimes it's on these sheets too, but the coffee of the month. They've got a Freaky Fast Friday formula, which I need to explore sometime. Maybe if we do this on a Friday night, I'll explore the Freaky Fast Friday formula. And then a sketch. So it kind of has tons of things. Plus you can go to their site and get more like inspiration, seeing how other people are using it. And some people are doing like 2-page layouts and some are doing single-page layouts. And I think for me, like having that variety of, the variety at your fingertips, kind of ready to go. Okay, how am I liking this? I think it's good. I keep worrying about this red piece, but like it's not going to be attached to the other red one because I'm going to have a picture. So it's all good. So stop worrying and just get this stuff down. Paulette said, my 10-year-old grandson is coming over. He has one of the mini Polaroid cameras, so we're going to make a mini book for his pictures. That is so sweet. Leslie says, I love Freaky Fast Friday. There we go. So you could probably tell me more about it because I don't even know. But it looks like there's like a little formula, and then you just take those elements and can like pop them together. Yeah. Allie says, I have 700 or so pics that I just received from Shutterfly, and she's sorting them now. That is a lot. So here, I'll show you guys in a sec. Okay, stick this down. Now we can see that my photos are gonna go here. So I'm choosing to put this one in the middle. Does that make sense to you guys? Because like, it's not an up close picture. This one, I feel like I need to have on this side because I'm kind of like looking in. This one here, he does feel a little bit off the page, but he is looking straight in, so it's okay. But I considered switching these around, but then it's like little picture, big picture. I don't know. I think it's better the other way. Does it even matter? I don't know. But let me obsess about it a little bit. How do you get the whiteboard on your photos? I do that when I'm printing them, Elizabeth. So I specifically have the setting on my printer for with the border or without the border. Sometimes I do the borderless setting, and sometimes I do with the border. And lately I've been doing a lot with the border, and it saves me from having to match all the little pictures, which is like one last step. Miss Cummings says, I like the little picture in the middle too. I'm glad I'm not the only one who obsesses over photo placement. Nope, you're definitely not. So Elizabeth, I'm printing my own photos on my computer at home. I have a Mac computer and I use the Photos program, so it allows me to choose exactly the size of the photos that I want. And it also allows me, oh, that's funny. I stuck this down a little bit in here. That's funny. So do I like the overall effect with the black? It's a little jarring, right? A little bit too much. Okay, so that's gonna have to get replaced. I'll just find a different. These patterns that I have aren't really like, I couldn't write on that. It's too busy, and I can't write on that. I don't want to. I could maybe write on the red. I could test that. I'll test writing on the red. Definitely not on that. You would never see my red. I have done that. Like, haven't we all done that where you do this? Fanzines, you can put your journaling. She said, yeah, you can do the journaling on the black. Oh yeah, I would just use like a little thing. Printer. So I do have a printer. It took a little bit of setting up. It is called an Epson EcoTank 2750. It has huge tanks of printer ink. So literally 2 years of printing and like a lot of printing. I printed a lot, and 2 years before I actually replaced ink. And then the ink was like less than $40 to replace all of them at one time. So red with a white pen, maybe. Yeah, maybe with the red with the white pen. Wrong one. Either that, or I can just grab a little bit of like kind of cream colored cardstock. If I'm assuming that with like the full kit, some of this paper would have more of this color or more of the pink color. So I could just pull a cardstock that kind of matches with this. Let's just say I have like plenty to choose from. Yeah, I have my EcoTank. I love my EcoTank too. And she has like another one. Yeah, I like having the EcoTank printer because I was just always running out of ink, and that was driving me crazy. Okay, so I have fun things to put on my page. But I'm really anxious to do a draw. I think you guys want to win stuff, and I think that's really fun. So I think we should do that right now, and I can come back to this. What kind of white pen do you use? So I used to use the Signo Uniball, but they always quit on me. I was super frustrated. So Rebecca Keppel actually shared a video on her YouTube channel. If you don't follow Rebecca Keppel, actually, I need to write this down. Next week in my Friday 5, I'm going to share Rebecca because her stuff is amazing. Her YouTube channel is fantastic. Friday 5. And I've been sharing different things that inspire me. She is one of them. She did a video talking about finding the ultimate white pen for her pages. And she actually chose, oh, it's hiding. Where did I put it? It has a different lid, so I'm not used to how it looks on my shelf. And I might have moved it off. I have all these pens sitting on my desktop right now. She chose one. Oh, I have to find it. I don't know. So my go-to until she shared one is the Jelly Roll. And I like the Jelly Roll 10. Keppel. I think it's Keppel. Rebecca Keppel. and Jelly Roll number 10. Leslie says Shamel uses a Jelly Roll 10. They are so good, and they do not dry out the way all of my other pens do. I am quite happy with this. She did, it was called like a Milk Joy or Ink Joy or something like that. I have it literally on my desk, unless it ended up into my jar. I thought that was it. It has a strange lid that I'm not used to seeing in my rack. Actually, I have a rack. Yeah, Heather says I use the 8. I find that sometimes with the 8, I don't get the nice flow. And where do you get them? You can get the jelly rolls from like scrapbook.com if you're ordering. I do have a affiliate link that you can use if you're going to shop there. You can go to bit.ly/scrappyshop, and that will take you to my affiliate link for scrapbook.com, which shameless plug because it helps a little bit and it's like not a hard thing to do is to click a creator's link. But yeah, having a good white pen, really important. Okay. We're going to pull up. Oh my gosh, this is going to get harder, guys. This is going to get harder. We have 75 people on here today. One of them is me. So out of 74, I'm hoping I don't have to count too high. Just confessing just right now, just saying. We may have to choose another way to do this in the future. But actually, I've seen one. So there are good ways. So for today, we are going to do simple. Out of 74, oh, of course, it wants me to go down to 54. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and count up 20. Because like otherwise, that's a lot of counting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 is Lynette Cowherd. Lynette Cowherd, you are our winner today. Congratulations. You need to email me support@scraphappy.org, please, and you will receive a free kit from the Scrap Room. So congratulations to Lynette. Congratulations, Lynette. Everybody's like super kind and sweet. I love it. It's like, darn it, I missed it again. But yeah, as you can see, I love the kits so much. I just love having the variety of stuff, and it's just super fun for me. So I really appreciate that the Scrap Room sponsors our giveaway and allows somebody else to play with the kits and experience them as well. So did Lynette comment here in the chat? Hopefully she commented. So yeah, Lynette. So congratulations to Lynette. And then let's see. Wanted to see Rebecca. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little quick screen share here, and I'm going to show you Rebecca's YouTube. So I will be sharing her next week. I've got that written down to share in my Friday 5. And she has such wonderful videos. 6 ways to use embossing folders that, you know, what is that? That make them stand out. Masks and stencils, embossing, the embossing powder. But yeah, like her video about the white pens. Let's see, I'll do a quick little search right here. White pen. I found the best white gel pen comparison for card making technique. This video, amazing. And she actually did it over time so that you could, she could compare them later. Yeah. So I'm not going to actually play her whole video, but that lets you kind of see who she is. And she has her links to the supplies, to the pens. It was this one that she liked, spoiler alert, the Pentel Milky Pop. So I picked up one of those. It really is wonderful. It really, really is wonderful. And I don't know that she compared the Jelly Roll one in this video or not, but anyways, I just thought that that was a really great thing. So I'm like, thank you so much. White pens, nightmare. Okay, let's finish up this layout. And oh, I said I was going to grab something. Let's have a look at these first before I fiddle. I'm going to show you my pages that I've made so far this month. I'm quite excited, and we'll take a peek through that. Oh, that's not one of my layouts from this month. That's something I need to take pictures of. Day 2, day 3, day 4. Okay, apparently my day 1 layout is not sitting here. I thought I had them all together. Not quite. Okay, so let's put up the share and have a take a peek at this. Okay, this, like I said, I don't have the day 1, but we'll start here with date number 2. So this was inspired by shiplap. Everybody had a little education on what shiplap was and how it's used, how it's kind of made a little bit, and how it kind of works. And so then the prompt was about your life overlapping with somebody else's. And I chose to do this page about my car. Well, the car that we had. Whose car is it anyway? Because my husband bought the car and then my oldest son drove it. He learned how to drive a standard on this car. And then my younger son, he finally got to drive it and he learned how to drive a standard on this car. So you're all feeling really bad for this car already, right? Knowing that 2 teenage boys were not only learning to drive, but learning to drive on a standard, which I think is an important life skill. That was one of the things my husband and I agreed that was important. And so I printed off all these photos. And so here's like just a little funny aside. My son looks at these pictures and he's like, Mom, why are you including that car in it? That's not the same car. We had a different little gray car. And I got the wrong car in this picture, but it was like my husband with the little car. So I just left it in there. But I talked about how the journey of this car kind of overlapped with all of us in our life. And so that was my overlapping one. And using wood grain, so you can see my wood grain paper in the background. So that was for there. Day number 3 was about the Magnolia brand and how something snowballs to gigantic proportions, because they didn't start with multiple businesses, but that is definitely where they are now. And I actually have a major project that I'm working on. I'm taking a class with Stacy Julian this year. It is called Photo Freedom. And in her class, we are tackling our photos. The ones that have been sitting around, the ones on your phones, on your, just everywhere, all of your photos, and getting them into order. And this box right here, I'll show you in a second, has photos. It's packed full of photos, and they're all taken within 7 weeks. This is the box full of photos. Yes, I know. I see the eyes. Candace, I saw your eyes. You're like, what? Like, whoa. It's a lot. And I'm sharing this because stuff happens that leads us to make decisions or lack of decisions sometimes. Sometimes it's like that paralysis that gets us stuck. And this box is all photos taken within 7 weeks of my life. Now, since my kids were little, we were in swim club and we went to swim club every single weekend. in the summer, except for long weekends. We usually had those off. But basically, my summer was spent at swim meets. The summer that this was, which was 2010, my cousins came over from Wales, two 15-year-old girls. They each had 4 weeks here with 1 week where they were both here. So it was like 3 weeks with one, 1 week of it they're together, 3 weeks with the other. And we did everything. We took them and showed them our province. We took them and showed them all of the things that we enjoy. We went to the lake. They were learning to scuba, like they were learning to water ski. We went to the water park. Here we go, learning to water ski. We just did all the things. We went to the mountains. We went to the park. If there was a thing to do, we went and did it. And it was super fun, but I have all the pictures because we made albums for the girls to go home with. I wanted them to have a keepsake, and we kind of didn't have time to go through and edit and choose, and I wasn't printing at home at the time. So I got a killer deal on photos. I printed them all. Some of them are in duplicates, possibly even triplicates. And it's too many. It's way too many. And this has been sitting in my cupboard for years, since 2011, since summer of 2010, sorry. And it's too much stuff, right? I can't keep all of this, but there are some great treasures in the box. Like I found really fun pictures with all of us. Like the girls got to sit in an actual snowbird aircraft, like from the air show, you know, tubing down the river, them riding in a 4x4 and going to the Athabasca Falls and feeling the cold water on the top of the mountains in Jasper, and the tubing, the water skiing, all of the crazy times and fun that we had from that summer. There are some great memories in there that I still want to scrapbook. But have I done them? No, because it's overwhelming. It's too many photos. And so to get my life, to get my photo life back together, maybe not my whole life. I don't know if Stacy can save everything, but to get my photo life back together, I signed up for the Photo Freedom class with Stacy Julian, and I am tackling photos. And so this is my current project. This is kind of like where I needed to dive in. And because it's one thing, I can go through, use Stacy's system and really get them sorted. And so I share that journey a little bit on this page, like with the too many photos, but then I show all of these moments, which are the reasons that I kept the photos, right? There's a reason I kept them, but it's too much. And if I'm not using them, why are they taking up all of this space? Because it's not even just space in my room, it's space, like it's that mental space too, right? It's the mental space that is like, oh my gosh, I really should do something with that. It's the shoulda, woulda, coulda has kind of come into play. And so I wanted to scrapbook that part because I think as I move forward, being able to recognize where the things happen, where things kind of go wrong becomes part of my journey. And this helped me get a few of those pictures onto a page, kind of helped me tell a story about where I am now. And I found some of the gems that I know that I'm actually going to scrapbook. But this actually kind of ties into my next load layout, which was my day 4 page, which was based on a manifesto. So this one was about sharing your personal manifesto and how it directs your path. And if you don't have a manifesto, what is one of your favorite mottos? And I love the phrase, keep moving forward. And I explain in here that, you know, yes, like Walt Disney actually said this phrase and it includes keep move it forward. However, he uses it in a way talking about curiosity and how that drives us and finding new paths. But I like keep move it forward because it's really about where I am in my journey right now and not looking back to say, oh, I can't believe I have I don't even know how many photos. Like that should be like one of those like how many gumballs kind of questions, right? How many photos are actually in that box? But I can't look back and like give myself trouble for that. That's where I was then. But right now I can move forward from where I am and do things differently. And so that's why I love this. And yeah, this was actually one of my kits from one of my flavors of the month, by the way. And this one was too. No, that one wasn't. That was a different one. And then this was the page that I made yesterday, and it was inspired by before and after, kind of like with renovations, you kind of get that before and after, a magical moment. And I said, like, maybe make a page about a now and then. So maybe show your life now and yourself as a child. What did you learn along the way that helped you become the person you are now? And so sometimes I go deep onto the journaling, like, and really kind of like dig in there. And sometimes I don't. I kind of go, ooh, let's do the like surface little story. So this one is called The Curl because when I was little, I started my journaling. There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead, because I can't think of curls without thinking of that saying, right? Like the nursery rhyme just pops right to my head. And I talked about how my mom would curl my hair all the time. Like there's a lot of photos with me with like little curled hair. And yeah, it was just a thing. And it wasn't always fun for me to get my hair curled because curling irons are hot and sometimes there were accidents. Let's just say I probably have scars on my head somewhere. But and I said, like, as there were awkward years where I couldn't do hair to save my life, pretty much. It was pretty bad. And now I generally like my hair enough, right? It's good. And sometimes I'll even put a little curl in my hair. But yeah, I never did become friends with a curling iron. Now when I put a little curl in, it's usually with my flat iron. we're much better acquainted. But I love this paper. It was one of the packs that I had bought from Photoplay. And yeah, I finally got to use some of that up. So that's what led us to where I am today, working on my project today. There. So that is the whole backstory on that. Now, I will need to add journaling, even if it's not going to be on this black piece, because it's not. It just isn't working. It's too bold. And then some embellishments and finishing touches. Like I definitely want to add this little chipboard right here. Maybe I'll stick down the top part of this photo. I can just stick it down because I can trim that to be the right size that I need it to be. There we go. Let's get those photos on the page. That'll feel better too, right? Now when you kind of break through that barrier and it's like everything is actually stuck down. There we go. Oh, my chat closed again. I'm surprised you didn't use foam rollers. Nope. It was hot curling iron all the time. Hot curling iron all the time. But yeah. Emmy says, amazing. And we have different styles, but I adore yours. Yeah, and I've definitely used plenty of ScrapRoom kits, especially as I go through load. And I like having that different feel to all my pages because they're not necessarily belonging in one album. If I'm doing a whole album, then like cool, like then I'll use like a bunch of that paper in a row. And but with doing just random different snapshots from my life, then I like to have the different variety and play with the different papers and the different embellishments. So the flavors of the month are definitely working out well for me for that. And did I put that too high? Maybe. I was thinking of putting that up there, but now it is definitely not going to go up there because I put them so high. I'm just going to move them down. Right? They're not stuck yet. You know how adhesive is when you stick it down at first, you kind of have a little bit of wiggle room. Unless it's liquid, and then there's no wiggle. Or red line tape or paper tape even sometimes. Yeah. There. Now that'll fit there. That'll be cute. I may need like a couple other little pieces there, but that's a good start. And I'm not a super big, I was so sure you'd have a cartwheel photo in that manifesto prompt. I was so proud of myself doing that manifesto thing because I went and I found all the little images and I made the little manifesto graphic. And as I read the little pieces of the manifesto, I kind of scrolled around the different images and I'm like, ooh, this is like kind of fancy, Alice. I hope they don't expect fancy prompts like that every day because with daily videos, that's probably not going to happen. Oh, look at this kit. It has like a little koala in it. That's adorable. Koala me crazy, but I love you. Oh, little XOXO heart. You're just my type. Little box of chocolates. Love you from the bottom of my tart. It's just cute. It's kind of cheesy and doesn't really fit with my page, but I found a couple of little hearts that would totally work for this page that I have kind of as contenders. My little enamel dots. Possibly the saying, maybe not. And I don't know if I will do the XOXO or the sweetheart, but we'll see. It could end up there. I love the double diagonal. Yeah, so I will say like making the double diagonal, because I did like the little X page, it was good. Cutting the stuff, this, if you're gonna do this, my best trick was to kind of cut them in half and then find the center point and kind of cut out from there, because otherwise you're trying to cut longer than 12 inches and that doesn't work very well. It's kind of a challenge. I've done it, but this was easier. But then there was a lot more wastage from the extra pieces that are getting cut off of the pages. So what I actually did, I have them sitting here. I was making something for an upcoming page. And I don't know, maybe it'll end up tomorrow or today, like for the something, but I actually used my little offcuts. I cut them a little bit smaller, and then I've made the little squares. I had to kind of trim them up to squares so that I can do like a patchwork. And now there's not enough to cover the whole thing because there's only this many, but if I take them and do like this, and have like a little centerpiece or whatever is going to be covered, I think it's going to be amazing to have like little patchwork quilt kind of page with my little offcuts from that other page. And since I was playing and watching Netflix or Amazon Prime lately, that's my go-to lately. Okay. I do have like the word love. I do have cute little guy on there. I don't know about the cute little things. I keep losing my little O. The XO. There's a little key to my heart. That would be a kind of thing that I would use because that's not too cheesy. And the you and me, I would use. And then there's like some little candy hearts that have like love you, be mine, and that kind of stuff. So I might use some of those. Some of the other things are feeling just a little too themey for where I want to go with this, but these are potential contenders. So I think as I pull these pieces, so on the sketch, it did have like a little strip at the bottom, and I need to kind of think about what I want that strip to be like. Do I want to repeat the red at the bottom? Okay, here's my question to you. Do I want to repeat the red at the bottom? And I could do a strip of like the vertical lines, I guess. It's not very exciting. This is too pattern on pattern, but the red definitely works. I think that's all I have for the actual patterns that would be enough to do a whole strip. I could take this and I can cut this and repeat this. Actually, that would work too. So yeah. Gail says, I bought myself a 16-inch ruler. It makes cutting on the diagonal much easier. I do have a sewing ruler that I could pull out for that kind of stuff. But for this, like, it was just super easy to do that. And actually, if it was just a little less than 6 inches, because I needed space, I wanted to leave space in between and around my edges so that I had that white space. If you want them to like touch up, obviously you wouldn't, but I needed them to be just a little bit smaller. So. You can repeat the bread at the bottom, but scallop the edge and make it a lot smaller. Like, yeah, super small. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, so we were talking about this technique earlier. For anybody that doesn't know this, I guess I will share it now. So I'm going to take this piece. I want it to be quite thin, and I think that the scallop idea is super adorable. So thank you. I would not have thought of that. This is why crowdsourcing ideas is really good. Crowdsourcing, you know, you get enough good scrapbookers in the same room, we can come up with some great things, right? We can solve everybody's problems. Okay, so if you have one of these little trimmers, they're from EK Success, you can gently pull this little guide off of here. Once you have that off, because this is just a corner rounder, right? Just a corner rounder. Then you can use this to make scallops. So you just put it in, make sure that it's nice and flush against the little triangle. So not flush and then flush against the triangle. And I'm gonna pull it down. So you wanna look at the little tippy corners. Let me point here. So this corner and this corner to line things up. So you can see I've kind of got the first little bit of a scallop happening there. But when I put this in again, you line up the little corner to see like where your last trim was. And then you just go across from there. So I'm gonna have to hold this a little bit different so that it's a little easier for me to do. But you kind of get good at it, and it's fairly easy to do. You can, of course, buy like a scallop punch or something like that, but this is just a good way to get a little more mileage out of a punch that you may already have. If you have a different corner rounder punch, like, I don't know, there's a lot of different ones out there. They may not be able to remove that little guard. It's like the corner guard, right? It's the little guard that allows you to get right into the corner. And then afterwards, you just slip it back onto your punch. But yeah, like it's like your little corner rounder guard. So make sure that you get like the perfect little corners. But yeah, but you can't do that. You can't put them in when the guard is in place. So that's why most corner rounders don't work. But this one does. That is good. I'll have little bits of little scallop offcuts sitting all over my desk here now. But yeah, adorable. Yeah, so this is an EK Success Corner Rounder Punch. And this one is probably 1,000,000 years old. I think I had a Creative Memories one before I got this one, but I guarantee it's at least 15 years old. In scrapbooking stuff, that's like 1,000,000 years, right? But yeah, it's been around my stash. Oh, look at the red was the right call. Look how cute that is. Adorable. It just like, oh, it's gonna finish that off so nice. Okay. I may like do a couple little things down there and tuck with it, but yeah, that was a super good call. Just kind of like finishes it off, right? I danced. I probably couldn't figure out how to use the Creative Memories corner punch. I'll probably just invest in a scallop punch or scissors. Yes, it is. It can be definitely easier if you just have a punch, but you know, if you're packing to a crop, this is a good economizer for space, right? It lets you do beautiful, lovely little corners or a scallop. Perfect. Okay, and I don't know that I want to use, I kind of want to use the word sweetheart, but I kind of don't want to use the word sweetheart. So I'm undecided. I might pull out something else for my title down here, and then I'll have my little embellishments to stick on the page. So something will come down here with my title, like, I don't know if it's going to be here. I'll have a couple little doodads. I got to have my journaling done here. This looks really crooked. That happens sometimes. And then this might be like on the edge of my journaling. And then we'll see about the little candy hearts to see if they kind of get sprinkled through here. I don't want to distract from that. I don't know. Okay, this is looking kind of somewhat what my final product is going to look like. That is kind of close to it. I've got to add my journaling and I've got to go find some other letters, I think, for my title. And yeah, I need something catchy, like I'll fly with you anywhere. Just, you know, as long as we actually go somewhere. Although right now, wouldn't going anywhere be nice? Right now, going anywhere would be nice. Some kind of phrase with support and flying. Do you ever scrap without using a kit, says Elizabeth. I do. Come fly with me. Oh, I love it. It's like in my head immediately. So there we go. That's the thing. So yes, I do scrapbook without using a kit quite often, or I'll kind of put together my own little random mishmash of supplies. Yeah, like the one layout that I shared. Here, like that definitely, it wasn't really a kit. So this paper, the background paper and this paper were part of the same collection. So they had the same corally peachy colors. But then I actually took my basil paper and I just inked some of my own little splotchy bits onto there in similar colors. And so that's kind of a bit of a kit, but you'll notice like how many embellishments. So here's a little secret. I'm not a good embellisher. And I don't know if it's that I'm not a good embellisher. It's just that sometimes the little extra pieces aren't necessarily important to me for finishing off pages. I like them. Like this page is going to look so cute because I have like the little embellishment pieces, but I'm going to have like a lot of things. And as you saw, when I was trying to pick through what I would use, I'm kind of picky about like some of the things. I'm like, that's really cutesy, but that's not, doesn't fit with my page. And so if it doesn't fit the tone or the theme of my page, then they end up sitting in the paper pack or the
cardstock or the chipboard or whatever it is for a long time or ever. But I like to use things like enamel dots a lot. I use quite a few enamel dots, but I like to do like that little bit of customization to make a page my own. Like this is the simplest page ever, but I look at that story that I have on here is super good. And the page I think looks nice away, like nice enough. You take my breath away or you take me away. Yeah. There's a couple times where he has took my breath away and I'm like, what? You fly enough, you have some adventures. Let's just say. Oh, this will look super cute. Behind this little thing. Oh, I can't lift this up. Behind the little airplane, I can kind of use these like a little puff balls almost, like behind the plane. That looks adorable. Yeah. Does anybody else have tips? You soar above the rest. Oh, see, this is like the best. Come fly with me. And take my breath away. Or you soar above the rest. I love it. So I'll get some kind of version of that on here. Gemma says, I like my scallop scissors. I have 2 different sizes. Yeah, and it's funny because for a long time, the whole scallop scissors or fancy scissors, decorative edge scissors kind of really went away because we saw so much of it. But I think the big difference is that when we use them the first time around, if you were around for the first time around with the scissors, we did so. Oh, who said that? Okay, Heather Rambo. Oh, she's come up with this. Love is in the air. Okay, okay, I that's gotta that wins. Love is in the air. Plus, I can totally use this love from here on my page. Oh yeah, I've got a mountain of stuff here that I'm knocking over now. Love is in the air. Thank you. See, I would not have come up with something so good. This is why I needed your help. Thank you. I really appreciate it because that is wonderful. So yeah, I think that having yeah, sorry, I've lost my track. That was just so good. Oh my gosh, that was wonderful. Yeah, no, this has got me scrapbooking. I'm using the kits. I'm happy to pull stuff out of the kits. I cut all the things with the fancy scissors. Thank you, the fancy scissors. Yeah, photos with fancy scissors, like papers, of course. But like, I think the reason that they really became like, you know, almost like a dirty word in scrapbooking was because of how much we cut photos with them, right? Like, and overcut photos. Like we had scallop scissors where we're trying to cut circles around people's heads. Like it was just like, what were we thinking? That is not pretty. Heather says, I totally sucked at using the fancy scissors. Lots of people did. And she says, I could not cut a straight line. Most people couldn't. Like it was just some of the problems we had with the fancy scissors. I cringe at my old pages. I look back and I accept where I was at the time and I move forward. If I still made pages like that, well, you know, then I wouldn't have learned anything. My pages now are different because I've learned different things. And we have different products and we have different tools and we have all these great things. Like, so we overused what we had because we didn't maybe have as much stuff, or we didn't have as much budget for stuff, or, you know, we just didn't have the types of creativity that are available to us. Like when I started scrapbooking, I didn't have YouTube. Like I couldn't look and see what other people do. We didn't have live streams. You know, somebody else couldn't say, well, I like to layer my pattern paper like this. You know, so it's the things that we pick up along the way that make us, you know, help us develop the style that we have now. This is the best morning. So many OG scrapbookers to laugh about our old ways.
I know. Yep, there's a few of us that have been around this for a while, and I still love it. And I think that's the thing. As long as you are making something that you love, then you're doing it right. Your stuff doesn't have to look like mine. I encourage you to find your own way that works for you. Do the things that you love, make pages that you love about the people that you love. And like when you bring all of those elements together, that's really what I think scrapbooking is about. So Diane says, I love the term sticker sneeze. Oh yeah, I had a cold. Emmy says, best evening, you mean? It's almost 8 p.m. here. I love that. See, Emmy is like able to join us, and we're like all over the world right now. Like, how fun is this? And, if we're at a crop, we don't necessarily get to chat with the people on the other side of the room. But here, like, maybe not everybody is like talking with your voice, but you're sharing in the comments, you're sharing in the chat. And so we get to chat with everybody from all over. Within our Scrap Happy membership, we actually have another event. It's a little similar to Scrapbook Live in the fact that we're scrapbooking live together, but we actually call it Scrap Happy Together because the goal of those events is for us to connect with our Scrap Happy family members and just hang out and scrapbook. And so everybody kind of comes on camera. It's really, it's just fun because we just sit there and chat. And sometimes it's about scrapbooking, sometimes it's about life and everything else. And it has just been a really great thing that we do. Like, I love, and that was a suggestion from one of our members. So I'm like, thank you. Daniela says it's 8 p.m. in Germany. So yeah, having that connection where we can hang out with the other scrapbookers, and that was such a good addition to our membership this past year. We added that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. If you are looking for a scrappy community, you're catching this on the replay, or you're like, hey, I'm catching this replay, how do I get on the list to join in live next time? You can go to scraphappy.org. And if you go to scraphappy.org/subscribe, I could not remember that link the last time. I don't know. Scraphappy.org/subscribe. You can get on my email list and I will make sure that you know. You can also check out the calendar of free events on the Scrap Happy site. There's a thing that says free in the menu and you'll see all the fun things that we do that are free. Greetings from Iceland. Thank you for joining. Oh my gosh. That's the first I've seen this. So that's the first time I've seen someone from Iceland joining us. So super fun. Yeah, so people are getting ready to wrap it up. I know it goes by so fast, doesn't it? It goes by so fast. Well, since it's daylight today, I'm going to take pictures of this page and the page from last month. It was only a couple weeks ago, and get those actually shared on my Instagram. Iceland, I just love Iceland. I have not been there, but I saw pictures from a friend that spent a few weeks there, and I'm like, now I want to go. Looks beautiful. Yeah, so you can catch up with us next time by making sure that you're on the Scrap Happy email list, and that is at scraphappy.org/subscribe. We are scrapbooking all this month, inspired by Chip and Joanna Gaines as part of our load challenge. That's been super fun. Registration for it is closed, but if you decide to come and join our membership, well, you can jump into the challenge and have a lot of fun scrapbooking this month. I love listening to the crop while working on my Digi page. It's so cool, says Kathy. Yeah, I love it. Joyce says, I finished a 2-pager today. I can't wait to see. Super fun. If you're sharing on your pages and stuff on Instagram, you can tag me at Alice Boll. It's ALICEBOLL, and I would love to see, and we can connect there too. And of course, in the Scrap Happy members, I'll see a bunch of your pages later today, I think. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Have a really great day. Go and make scrapbook pages that you love, and happy scrapping. Bye.